If we would like to have any hope in stopping bitterness, we need to recognize it in its more subtle forms. By the time bitterness has fully developed, it has become like a large, well-established tree that is impossible to bring down. At this point, you are no longer living your life with freedom and enthusiasm. You are living your life, negotiating your path, and conducting your relationships as a victim. There are benefits of being a victim: the attention received from the stories of injustice and the sense of freedom from personal responsibility. But this benefit comes at a steep cost: a deep sense of powerlessness and a growing isolation. A victim lives in a cold, dark prison they have created with their own hands. As a victim, you have thrown away your opportunity to give your life direction and meaning. You can no longer live deliberately. You are now a slave to your bitterness. We need to recognize the roots of bitterness and destroy them before they have a chance of developing into that well-rooted tree. The following is not intended to be a complete list. It is just a list of some of the more common roots of bitterness. In the book of Hebrews in the New Testament, we are encouraged with the following words. Watch out that no poisonous root of bitterness grows up to trouble you, corrupting many. Be on your guard. These roots have corrupting power, and they can present in a very subtle manner. Do not forget about bitterness. It will eat you alive. Bitterness is the internalization and personalization of a perceived injustice, with a persistent and intense rumination about the injustice or the agent of the perceived injustice, resulting in more damage caused by the bitterness than could ever be caused by the injustice. You want to stop the progress towards bitterness as soon as you can. The following is a list of some of the early roots of bitterness. Learn to recognize them early and get rid of them before they make you a bitter victim. You know what they look and feel like in their maturity. The various roots of bitterness appear to be different, but if you were to take a closer look, they all share the same substance. All roots of bitterness are a form of greed. Greed is an insatiable longing for gain, be it for food, money, status, or power. Greed is an inordinate desire to acquire or possess more than one needs. Psychologist Erich Fromm described greed as a bottomless pit which exhausts the person in an endless effort to satisfy the need without ever reaching satisfaction. Greed is ugly to all. The roots of bitterness are a more palatable presentation of greed. In future presentations, I will be taking a detailed look at the energy behind greed, that deep and painful emptiness that is the pain of loss or failure, the tension of unresolved conflict, the anguish of inadequacy, the heavy darkness of aloneness, the despair of hopelessness, the restlessness of meaninglessness, and the angst of perpetual uncertainty. When considering the roots of bitterness, I have divided a selection of the roots of bitterness into three categories: the internalized roots, the passive roots, and the aggressive roots. The internalized roots of bitterness are subtle. They include some of the following: worry, which is a state of anxiety and uncertainty over actual or potential problems. Envy, which is the desire to obtain a quality, possession, or other desirable attribute belonging to someone else. Jealousy, which is close to envy but subtly different. It is being fiercely protective or vigilant of one's rights or possessions. With envy, I want or think I deserve what you have, and with jealousy, I am afraid that you are going to take from me what I value. Cynicism, which is an inclination to believe that all people are motivated purely by self-interest. There are the passive roots of bitterness, which include some of the following. Disgust, which is a feeling of revulsion or strong disapproval aroused by something unpleasant or offensive. Mocking, which is making fun of or mimicking someone with contempt, ridicule, or derision. Gossiping, which is idle talk or rumor, especially about the personal or private affairs of others. Thirdly, there are aggressive roots of bitterness. These roots are not subtle in their presentation. Some of them include haughtiness, which is an act or attitude full of arrogance and pride. A haughty person acts superior and looks down on others. Their way of doing things is the only way of doing things. Anger, which is an intense expression of emotion that involves a strong, uncomfortable, and hostile response to a perceived provocation, hurt, or threat. Hatred, which evokes feelings of animosity, anger, or resentment, which are directed against certain individuals, groups, entities, objects, behaviors, concepts, or ideas. Deception, which is the act of causing someone to accept as true or valid what is false or invalid. In conclusion, greed is the ugly reality behind all roots of bitterness. Greed and bitterness will destroy you. Be on your guard. Stop these roots before they develop, define you, and eventually destroy you. For further references and additional information, please visit the Fractured Resilience website, and for updates on new videos, subscribe to the Fractured Resilience YouTube channel. Thank you.